Hi guys, welcome to episode 7 of the Larry Weekly.
Shout out to Sam, one of our podcasters, for her amazing hit tweet that got us 13k likes trending in Louis, Harry, and pop topics. Next week's shout out will go to the person who can list all the different names we called Olivia in this episode.
So before going in and just talking about our opinion and everything, we just wanted to do a quick definition of what is a stunt if you didn't know. So a stunt is a full celebrity relationship organized by the team of the celebrity or celebrities to get attention of the public.
Popular question that's asked is, why are there stunts in the music/Hollywood industry? And it's really common in the Hollywood industry because creating a new relationship with two well-known celebrities is a really good way to promote new work, but also to hide real relationships or sexual orientation, aka a beard.
Okay, in Harry's case, this stunt was created to promote both of their work/roles in the upcoming film Don't Worry Darling. Olive's first movie got almost no commercial success, and thus her desire for more views and promotional success has led to the need for more exposure through relationships with well-known celebrities, i.e. Harry, of course, and media ties bringing attention to her second movie. Obviously, the way she's gone about doing it is by getting her name in the tabloids, by making it known that there's a relationship going on between her and Harry, who's obviously one of the leads in the film and is very much in the spotlight at the moment for success.
So the second reason the stunt Harry and Olivia was created was for HS3, even if the PR does not benefit Harry, but actually none of Harry's stunts benefit Harry. Yeah, his team is mainly forcing this PR and all of the other PRs because it just infaces his womanizer image, and also him being attracted by older women. Olive Wilde is almost 10 years older than him. So yeah, and those two ideas, the one I said and the one Britt said just before me, or said by Nate from OTP is my OTB on TikTok. You should probably check it out. It is really good.
Yeah, and just to go along with that and to add to that, it's just like all of his other stunts to hide his relationship with Louis, because his management, I guess, benefits from that happening.
The next thing we wanted to talk about was Harry and Olivia's relationship and how it was built by the media. An article by The People titled Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde's Relationship Timeline states that first in September 2020, Harry joins the cast of Don't Worry Darling, directed by Olivia Wilde. She is still with her husband at the time. And then in November 2020, the magazine People reports that Olivia Wilde and her husband Jason had divorced.
And then in January 2021, Harry and Olivia are seen holding hands for the first time. And we continued to have more pictures of them in the streets during all 2021, including the famous yacht pics.
So Oxiclean then started to do a lot of things related to Harry, like going to his concerts, wearing his brands like Pleasing and tour merch, and posting, just in general, posting a lot about Pleasing. According to the article, they are still together now.
Apparently.
I almost gagged saying that.
Yeah, you could hear it in your voice.
Good.
So now let's go into the main topic. Why is it impossible to believe that Olive Wilde and Harry are together? First of all, there are some backgrids in pretty much every picture that was taken of Harry and Olivia, so it is staged pictures. There is a few TikToks talking about it. One that is very interesting is by Angelica Pickles, and so I quote, she said, "Almost every photo I found of H and Olivia has a background watermark." Yeah, so meaning that they were, the paparazzi were called not true pictures.
Yeah.
The yacht pictures,
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
The yacht picture is so false. I was like, how are people believing in that?
Exactly. We're just meant to believe that the paparazzi showed up out of nowhere, they just took a joyride out on the middle of the ocean.
We just happened to run into them. Yeah. We just happened to run into them.
I took my helicopter.
Yeah.
To go there and just
oh, fancy seeing you here in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
Like,
What a
oh,
crazy thing that happened. Like, it was just like with my boat at the middle of the ocean. You don't
exactly.
know who I have like seen there, Harry and Olivia kissing. So I obviously also had my camera on, and it was like a huge camera, so I could just take a picture of them at the middle of the ocean. Like, so
Yeah,
crazy.
it was a huge
It's like
coincidence, but
it's like Jeff, if you wanted to push the narrative that H and Octopus are together, maybe think about the plan a little bit better and keep the
yeah.
timeline the
Also,
same and stop changing the stories
exactly.
changing.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like they don't really take into consideration, like Harry knows. Harry knows that we look into this, but I feel
Yes,
like they just don't even try. Like
yes, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, but like this is also like the main thing with Stunt is like it is not meant to be believed by like the fandom itself. It's more like meant to be
The
believed
general public,
like
yeah.
General
by the
public.
general public that is just like reading just like People magazines and not really like deeply interested in like Harry's personal life or anything. Like they don't really care. They
Yeah,
just want
I
some
Yeah.
information. And if the main information is Harry is with Olivia right now, well then this is what is happening.
yeah, I had
Exactly.
I had a friend from work send me a photo the other day. She went shopping and she found a magazine, and the title of it was something like "It's happening. Olivia and Harry are getting married."
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, see, okay, so ready to wed, and it was a bunch of photos of Harry and Olivia. Like the one, the photos where we got of him in the jeans and the blue shirt with the white glasses
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the Beatles shirt on. Yeah, it was that one photo where they're both
Oh
kind of smiling.
gosh.
There was that
The
one.
only picture of them
Yeah,
together smiling.
yeah. They put in a photo of her with the custody papers in her hands, and it
Please.
was on stage at Coachella, and the main title was "Ready to Wed."
Wow.
Yeah, and then just people are believing in it because like, they're just
Exactly.
like, oh, it is written like in super big and some people have wrote an article in it, so it must be true. It is on the internet, so it must be true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I also think that like as messed up as it is, I think their management knows how much Larry is involved in like how much we pay attention to it, and I think they kind of use that in a way. I think they use the stunts in two ways. They use it one to brainwash the general public into thinking that Olivia is real and just the whole thing, for publicity with Don't Worry Darling. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also think it's targeted at us because they are getting more money the more attention that we give to them about it. And obviously like we can't ignore it. Like we have as like Larry's and people that, are invested in stuff like this, we have to like look at it and analyze it and all that. So it does give it more attention, which also gives them more money. So they're getting it
Yeah,
in two ways.
100%. Which sucks that it gets them that side of thing,
Yeah.
but at least it means that we can bring more attention to what's actually happening.
Yeah. And like it kind of sucks because we're giving it more attention, but I don't know, I feel like it's hard like for us just to ignore it. Like we can't have that go on with the somebody we care about and just not do anything about it. But at least if you're self-aware about it and about like the fact that it is probably targeted partly at us, that it makes it a little better.
and also like I know that a lot of Larrys tend to like tweet some of the articles and just like screenshot it and
Yeah.
say don't click on it because there is Olivia also and you don't want to give them credit, which is
Yeah.
also like a really good way to still
Yeah, because
read
if
and
people
see what is
screenshot it,
happening, but
yeah.
just, not really like click on it or anything.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. And as our favorite Irish boy always says, obviously, if you don't want to get papped, you're not going to get papped.
Exactly.
It is
Like,
so true.
and thank you, Harry, for some wide
Yeah.
words of everything we see as work.
Yeah.
Also,
I was just
also,
gonna say that, yeah. Like, if it's crazy because, like, he follows Olivia, but he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't follow any of the boys.
Yeah.
Like, that is work. That's because it's work. Like, he knows that we pay so much attention to every single detail. Like, we do
Yep.
not miss a single thing.
It
And
really is the little things that matter.
ex- no pun intended. But yeah, but like I think he uses that to his advantage that we know so much. Like we whenever something happens, most of the time it's related to something that happened like 10 years ago and we find it in like 2 minutes. Like he knows that we're that good. So
Yep.
him simply just following Olivia and not following any of the boys really just shows like he knows we know.
definitely. No,
Like
so true.
He
yeah.
knows we know they know we know.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, I
It'll
had
be
to. I
over
was like,
soon, Miss Cockburn.
oh, I hope so.
I'm gonna have like I'm gonna I told a bunch of my friends, I said, when this is all over and Larry comes out and Olivia is finally over, party at my house. Because like we this
Catch
calls
me on a
for
plane to come.
no, literally, like it calls for a celebration, that's for sure.
The next thing we wanted to mention was obviously the fact that I honestly don't know about you guys, but it is so obviously a publicity stunt. The way that they've structured this, or like I said before, the way that Jeff's trying to push the narrative, but it keeps changing.
Yeah,
Um, the stunt walks and the photos being released on the same day each week, the outfits each time, the fact that backgrid is pretty much, as we stated before, always on every single photo.
exactly.
Like,
Sorry. And also, I just wanted to say, like, the timeline, like, yeah, it's just like what we talked about before, but the fact that they just, we have seen like pictures of them together when Don't Worry Darling started to have like more
yes,
publicity
Yeah.
also, like, it just, yeah, like,
It's really like blatantly obvious.
it is
yes,
so,
exactly. Especially when we get the paparazzi photos and then we get the fan photos, and Harry is so far away from her, or like
Oh, the one where
completely
he's driving
her.
away from her too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
that was
But
so
also,
funny.
I have a comment on that one. The ones that we got the other day, where I think it was a bridge that they were walking across of, and Harry was so far in front of her, and he was on his phone. I think
Yeah.
we can all agree that knowing Harry and how he is, if he was with someone that he genuinely cared about and wanted to be around,
He would not be on
that
his phone.
phone would stay in his pocket. Like that would,
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but I just feel like that Harry would literally be that person who considers, if you are if you are surrounded by people that you genuinely want to be with and hang out with, being on your phone is one of the most rude things that you can do.
Exactly, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And
And
That her on his phone.
not only a friend, like if you were with a friend, it would be a little different, but like it's
A
if he's in a
relationship?
relationship with her,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
like and not only
Oh,
that, but I think
just came on my screen.
he does things in the stunts sometimes to show us that is not like that like things that hint at Larry while he's doing the stunt. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, like the ones from the other day, where he had H and L written on his shoes.
yeah,
And
Yes,
when
that
he
was so
had
cute.
the shirt that said Jamaica on it, that was
Mhm.
so loud. Because just really quickly for anyone that doesn't know like the Jamaica story, um, there were rumors that um, people were seeing H&L in Jamaica at like a hotel with some friends, and nobody really believed them at first. But then one of them was like, "Yeah, like Harry was wearing a teal tank top," and then pictures came out a couple days later of Harry
In a
exactly
teal.
where they said he was in a teal tank top. And then so after all that, all the other stories that people were saying like started to they were starting to be believed as true. Um, and people said that they saw Louis there as well, which we didn't get a picture of that. But after that, like Lottie was posting and basically confirmed that her and the entire family, so Louis included, was in Jamaica. So like Harry wearing a Jamaica shirt like while he's in a stunt, it's like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Louis' tweet.
Oh yes, yeah. The always and then the you. Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah,
Which
Just
ended
quick.
up being a song title too, which really like while that was happening, he tweeted always and then an Instagram caption was you and then
We got always
always
you.
you. Like yeah, like okay. And funnily enough, that song is very Larry.
Very loud. Very, very
Yeah,
loud.
very loud.
it is. It is. And I think like the clear publicity stunt can also be seen by like just how the photos are taken. Like as we said, like when some pictures are staged, like you can just see it.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing when they are putting their arms onto each other and everything, it's just like
It looks very unnatural.
it looks really unnatural. Like this is not how you walk with someone, first of all. Then like on all of the um photos that we got from like Harry and Olivia, it was like, outfits that you wouldn't wear if you would just like go out in the streets. And I'm
Yeah,
just like, how do you have those outfits just like to go out like on a random day?
exactly.
Then
Yeah.
like when they were at like in London in the middle of the city, like I think it was like on a Wednesday, like really, really sunny Wednesday. No one is doing that when you are a celebrity like as famous as Harry. Like
Yeah.
Yep.
just holding hands with like your partner like on the middle of the street of London. Like
Exactly. And
it
what's
just makes
funny,
no sense.
exactly. And what's funny is fans never see them together. Like
Yep.
how is it that every single time they are seen together, it's paparazzi? The only exception
Or
is
Olivia.
yeah, the only exception is the time I can't remember if it was LA or New York, but they were seen like outside a gas station, I think. And
Mm-hmm.
they so fans what happened was they were seen outside that gas station by fans. One
Yep.
person has a picture of it, and so that made that like kind of set people off like, well, they were just seen together. But then later that week, paparazzi pictures were released of that exact moment of them walking in front of the gas station. So they were actually walking for paparazzi, but some fan just happened to like see them as well. So that one
Yeah.
technically still doesn't count because that was packed. So other than that, every single time we've seen them together, it's literally only by Paps and no fans have seen them, which is absolutely ridiculous because what are the chances that we have like all of these stunt pictures by Paps,
Yeah.
but none by fans? Like, surely if they were going out together and they were, just like walking around the streets of London and Italy and LA, fans would see them. Like, it's a very public place.
Yep.
It is.
And it coincidentally always happens when something Larry either just happened or is about to happen. Because it just
Yeah.
covers everything up.
Can we also just talk about the fact that I don't know if you saw the tweet, but I saw someone stating that apparently when they were staying in Italy that Harry stayed in his house and made Olivia stay in the Airbnb.
I saw that, yeah.
They were saying that she didn't stay. She doesn't stay with him. She stays in another house, like in an Airbnb, and drives to him for them to then go on those walks where we get all the pap
Yeah,
photos.
I saw that because of
It
like
would make so much sense.
I think people were saying that also about the picture of Harry driving away from her, like when she was. Yeah, I think they were saying that like she was then like a drop off kind of thing.
Like it makes sense.
I mean, it sadly. Yeah.
It just does. And also like just the fact that Olivia is just like always wearing pleasing stuff,
Exactly.
or when they are together, Harry's like like just putting on those like huge pleasing bags and just like so strange.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like so weird. I'm just
Like
like,
every other time we see Harry, I feel like he's not, like he's got no, like he's either wearing like a shirt or something that is of his merch, but other than that, he's not like fully like decked out in a bunch of his pleasing merch, you know? Like it's
yeah,
so
yeah, like
weird.
he's pretty much never wearing like any pleasing stuff except like nail
Yeah.
polish. But
Yeah.
it's not like, brand like huge brand names. And
Yeah.
also,
But also pleasing isn't merch, so that's a little different. Like it's just a brand. So,
yeah, but I think it also goes, with like the whole
well,
publicity stuff,
yeah, I
like it
feel like
just
it
makes more more money for the merch. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I feel like it applies when it's a stunt, but like if he's because like if he's in a stunt and he's wearing it, it's like oh that's a little weird. But then if when we rarely see him other than nail polish, when we rarely
yeah,
see him wearing merch, it's like it just gives off a different like vibe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it just feels different. It's like it's not him trying to add to the stunt. It's just like or not him trying to add to it, but like him I guess having to. But when he wears it on his own, it's just like, okay, like it's his, so it makes sense.
yeah, yeah, it just makes sense.
It's so weird. And like, I don't know if you guys saw, but that the videos and pictures that came out, like I think it may have been just over a week ago now, of Olive wearing some pleasing merch. I think it was the crew neck. And she
Mm-hmm.
was in like a parking lot hugging this guy.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. I honestly saw that. I was like, that looks like a very intimate hug you got going on there. It was weird. And it looked okay. The thing about that, so really quick, I just want to talk about like the quality of the pictures because when we get pictures like fan pictures, it either looks like it's taken on a potato or it's a really good clear picture. But with pap pictures, they're always like in between because it's like they're making it look like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they're trying too hard, Like it looks
Yep.
like they're
They're
making it
trying to
look
make it
like
look
it's a
like a fan took them.
coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but when it's a fan picture, it's either really good because somebody has a really good angle or it's really bad because they, I don't know, have a really bad phone or something. So the
Yeah.
fact
But
that like you can categorize them all by the quality of the picture says so
mm-hmm.
much.
It's true.
And the pictures and the video of um her hugging that guy were really clear. There's no way that that was like Paps. And also, why would they do that if they're trying to push the Olivia stunt? So one of the main reasons that the whole Olivia stunt is very unbelievable is she basically stands for everything that he's against. Like she's very racist, transphobic, sexist, and she she keeps in touch with and she's friends with people who have been accused of sexual assault. Um, and honestly, there's so much evidence of it. Like there's just so much. The like with the Instagram posts, like the one where she was basically posing as a colored person because of like I'm talking about that picture.
Not sure.
It's one of the most recent ones, but she definitely had like some kind of coloring on her, whatever. I don't know what it was, but made her definitely not look like her skin color. And like the breast milk video, um, and just all this stuff like that. Um, and supporting Harry and this relationship and Olivia in that way, like is basically just supporting everything that she stands for. So that's not good. Don't do that. Um, and also the fact that she posted that Instagram story about like how great Howard Stern was after it was announced that Harry was gonna do another interview, like
Yeah.
it just seems so like for publicity, like
No, this sounds so weird. She also said, I think, that she was like a kind of like soft lesbian while she was like
Yeah.
still in relationship with her husband, and I don't think she ever had a lesbian relationship in her life.
Uh-huh.
Like coming out of the closet is the same thing as like changing
Yeah.
career. And it's just like, no, it's not.
Like, no. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? It was, she said something about coming out of the closet was like transitioning from being in front of the camera to behind the camera as like the
Yeah,
director to director. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, how can you
Being
just
able to go in the role she wanted to be in.
Yeah. Like
there
they're
is
not the
nothing
same
in common.
thing.
It is not the same thing.
And
There is nothing like comparing one and the other.
exactly.
Yeah.
And just really quick about like the whole camera thing, it's not really related, but however, I absolutely hate how much she was in the trailer. Like
Yes.
she was in it way, 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 way too much. Like at first we were like, oh, she's directing. She'll probably just be in like a couple scenes. She was like in every other scene.
Yep.
Anyways, I hate it. Like if I watch this movie, am I really gonna have to stare at her face that much?
Yeah, I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's true that like as a director, most of the time you don't like put yourself on any scenes, and she was supposed to have like a really little role, and now she's
Yeah,
got like pretty much like one of the main leads. So
exactly. Like people don't do that unless like for example, I'm just gonna use one of my favorite shows as an example, like Little House on the Prairie. The director, Michael Landon, also played Laura's father, which was he so basically he was in every episode. But usually when something like that happens, it's like known that the person like it's either the person directing is in the show a lot or the person directing is not in it at all. But we never got the like confirmation of either one. So it was like a surprise kind of. So like usually it should be
Hold up.
stated whether or not the person is in it a lot or not at all. But we never really got that. So nobody was really sure, which is weird because that like never happens.
yeah, like she changed her role. This is
Yeah.
like I think everyone is just like surprised and thinking that she's like a bit narcissistic because like if it was planned from the beginning, it's like okay, I mean it's what you chose. But
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
changed it and everyone believes that this is also to just spend more time with Harry.
Well, considering
Yeah.
she changed it to be Harry as the lead as well when it was meant to be someone else. And I don't know if you guys saw, but apparently she also added in more sex scenes than was actually intended.
Exact. Oh my gosh, I hate the way she's making Harry look at this because yes, Harry's acting, but when he signed up for it, they after that they changed so much, and I guarantee if he knew what it was like now, there's no way he would have done it unless him doing it literally just meant he could do My Policeman because I have a very strong feeling that he really mostly doing this so that he's allowed to do My Policeman. And like
100% counter prize. It was
if
like,
yeah, like
it was,
if
And we talked about it a little bit, but just to maybe go into more details, like there is obviously no love and affection between Harry and Olivia except like when they are in front of an audience or like in the streets or anything, and Harry seems kind of like uncomfortable in the relationship. He doesn't really want to get close to her, especially on fans pictures. Yeah, he you know, it's just like not a real thing. It's like it seems pretty obvious, but
yeah, like, I don't know about you, but like, if I was in a relationship, I think I would be more happy about spending time with them than he looks when he's in photos with her.
oh, definitely.
yeah,
Like, I don't care how much time, like, if it doesn't matter how much time you spend with someone, if you're genuinely in love with them and you like their company and, like, yes, you need a little bit of break, but like every time we get these photos, he just looks so drained and disinterested and like
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Very disinterested. Like,
Yeah, like it doesn't even seem like a friendship, you know, like it just seems like two people hanging out together because
It's
they
work.
have to. Like it can be work related, like we know that this is also like related, but it, yeah, it does not even seem like they are friends. And I mean, it makes sense because like I don't think Harry would be friend with someone like that. um just as we said, like she's super problematic, so
Like if you're gonna put him in a fake relationship to hide the narrative, like to push this narrative, at least put him with someone he can at least tolerate,
yeah.
right?
Like the whole, like with Louis and Eleanor. Like,
Oh my,
yeah.
that's a little more, like, she's not as problematic. So
no.
it's a little, it's,
Yeah,
what's the word?
that is what I was like talking about with Sam. I said like Louis and Eleanor, at least it kind of looks like they're siblings, you know. So
Yeah. And
it's
like
it's
with
fine.
exactly, and with the video of her comforting Louis' grandfather during Two of Us. It's
Yeah.
like of course at that point that was a lot of a turning point for a lot of people, and like a few like were having a weak Larry moment at that, because it does look kind of odd, but if you think about it, this has been going on for over 10 years. At some
Yeah.
point they would have become at least good friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean
They're
like I don't think they're like super good friends, but I think they definitely like all friends. I mean
Exactly. And like
friends.
it makes work less frustrating and unbearable if you are friends with the people that you're working with.
Yeah,
exactly.
and you can
Just
do that if they're like good persons, which is not the case between like Harry
Yeah.
and
Which
Oxygen.
is
So
why we never see them together.
it's true. And it's like also, I think that for the main public, being together means holding hands. Once you're holding hand with someone, it means, oh, the persons are together. So they
Exactly.
love each other. And it's just like, it is, I think, the only affection that we can see between like Harry and Olivia or them holding hands. And like, it
Yeah.
does not mean that you like the person. It just
Exactly.
means
exactly.
that you're holding hands.
All right, and as always, we have our speed round question, and this week's question is from Harp Sprite, who asks, "Which of the boys' solo music resonates with you the most?" And I guess why?
I I didn't want to say anything because I was trying to stall to think of an answer. But I honestly, it's a really hard choice, but uh, I think I would say Niall,
Mm-hmm.
but I I think it either goes between Louis and Niall, but then I also want to say Harry, but I think I'm gonna have to stick to Niall just because um a lot of his songs really like I do relate to personally. And I do with it like all of their songs, but I feel like the most with Niles.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I think like Niall would be a good one, but I think I would go with Harry because one, I think that we kind of have like the same music taste, and so I think it's also what I can see in his work, and that's why it like resonates with me. And also like some of the songs, like you know, just the lyrics makes like yeah a lot of sense. But at the same time, like Louis and his lyrics, you know, like I think
Yeah,
it also, yeah, it just like it can talk to you like so hard for some songs.
exactly. And not only that, but like we're about to get a like Harry's house, and then LT2 is coming, and then NH3 is coming. So like we could change our based off of the new albums that are coming out.
We could change, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
stick with Harry for the moment, and
Yeah.
we'll see, I guess.
I think all of our choices is kind of funny because the fact that you just mentioned obviously the three new albums that we're getting, and I think honestly mine would be Louis. Um,
Yeah.
and like, I mean, as we've all said, it's all of them. Kind of like I like my music taste and what I listen to is very much dependent on obviously my mood. Like I like everything except what I don't like.
Yeah.
Um and although I obviously I listen to all of their solo stuff. Like I still listen to Liam and Zayn all the time, but I definitely listen to Niall, Harry and Louis more.
Yeah.
Um and I definitely think it's because they kind of, while they're not this, I don't want to say that they're the same, but they're very similar, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. You can
And
like get what I'm
it's
from.
not a surprise because they were in a band together that wrote,
Wait,
they all
this
wrote on
all
this
from the same
music.
place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall Louis, and a big part of that would be and I hate to say it because it's just so sad, but the trauma side of where
Yeah.
Yeah.
Louis from is very much more like, obviously Niall and Harry have their songs where they draw from that as well, but I think Louis definitely pulls from it a lot more in more of
Yeah.
a sad lyrics, sad beat kind of way, whereas Harry has described it before. Um, his lyrics are sad, but it's hidden behind such an upbeat,
Yeah.
fun
Mhm.
like beat.
Honestly, after he
That
said that about as it was, like people dancing to your most what
like
was
that
it?
word
Yeah,
like
devastating experiences. I was like, oh, oops. Like you could have told us before we were all like dancing to it.
yeah, exactly. But I
I
think
don't know,
yeah,
like I felt like it was pretty clear that like as it was like super sad. So it
Yeah,
was just like
but him
no
saying it
Harry's
kind of
side.
yeah. Like we all knew because you could just hear in the lyrics, but I feel like after he said that, it really just like it did it for me. I was like, oh, whoopsies.
yeah, like that's why I think that's why I resonate with Louis more, is because it's not hidden behind an upbeat song, like an upbeat beat.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
like the music fits directly with the lyrics, and not like anyone like Harry's doesn't, but I mean
Yeah,
he very much like pulls the music from the lyrics.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. And like also and it goes with it, but like Louis is so genuine in his lyrics, that
yeah,
it just makes you want to get
Cry.
to relate to it because like he also just yeah, it's just so self
Mm-hmm.
explanatory. Whereas like
yeah,
with Harry, I think sometimes it can be like more um hidden, but like with metaphors and everything,
yeah. I was just gonna say that like metaphors.
poetic and
Yeah,
everything, and yeah, like it is so really beautiful. But that's true that like Louis is something that I think he can do super well is like just being super genuine and just
yeah. It sounds and feels very like raw in a way.
yeah.
Exactly. 100%.
And that is like definitely something that you can get from the artist. Like just when someone is being honest with you, it always clicks. I think somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like as you were saying before, obviously with As It Was, when you first listen to it, you don't, I'm not gonna say that you don't pay attention to it, but you're definitely not as focused on the fact that it's a sad story behind that beat the first time you listen to it. And like as of the general public who obviously
yeah,
wouldn't have no idea where he's coming from, when they listen to it, they don't initially hear that sad trauma
uh-huh.
lyrics like pulling it from, but you can listen to a Louis song for the first time as a person from the general public and go, oh, okay, so that's trauma.
Exactly. Yeah, and like with in the Zane Lowe interview, when he was saying like that it start like as it was start like in it, the like voice memo it started out as like a very like mellow kind of not as upbeat as it is now. It was very like
Yeah.
kind of sad and depressing. um and yeah, I feel like he fits. I don't know, just the way he makes music. They all do it very differently, obviously, because they're different people, but I feel like the difference between him and Louis is that Harry's is more, um, yeah, like metaphoric, and it's
he makes more general music. Like it's very, you can't tell exactly what it's about sometimes, but then with Louis, like you know pretty much exactly what it's all about. And I
Yeah.
think that that really plays into like how Harry is very like not only secretive, but how he leaves a lot of hints around for us. It's because he knows like how to generalize things and hide things, not only in lyrics, but you know, like everything with like "You Are Home," like all that, like everything that's being hidden. It kind of goes into his music as well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, yeah. That's it for today. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Larry Weekly. We hope you've learned something new. If you want to be a part of this journey, don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at the Larry Weekly to keep up with all podcast related news and exclusives. See you next Friday for a new refill.